Hey, what's up everybody? Today's video is going to be about all of the tricks that are considered in logic for weekly and scrubs settings. So this video is for people who are relatively new to Ocarina of Time Randomizer, looking to participate in community races. So these are 10 tricks that are really good to know for everybody, because they are considered in logic. And by in logic I mean these tricks can be expected in order to beat a randomizer seed. So these are tricks that are standard for the North America and EU weekly races, and that are standard in Season 1 scrub settings. For Season 2, there may be some changes to these. This video, I'm sure, will be out of date at some point, so be sure to check what exact tricks are expected in logic for the race that you're in. You can find what tricks are in logic on the website generator. There's a tab called Detailed Logic, and if we take a look at it here, this is the preset for the standard weekly races. There are 10 tricks considered in logic. The final one on this list, Goron City Spinning Pot Piece of Heart with Strength, was not in logic in Season 1 of the Scrubs tournament, and I'm sure won't be in logic in Season 2 either. We'll deal with each of them in turn, talk about what they are, why they're in logic. In general, these tricks have been put in logic to reduce bait, or useless way of the hero hints. All of these prevent some items from being hinted as way of the hero when almost all racers don't actually need them. So we'll go through them one by one, talk about what they are, and how you can do them. So let's get right into it. So the first trick on the list is called Fewer Tunic Requirements. This is not so much a trick as a change to the base logic of the seed. When this trick is not enabled, then the Goron Tunic or Zora Tunic is required anywhere where there's a heat timer or a water timer. So for instance, with this trick not on, simply walking into Death Mountain Crater is considered out of logic. The game will force you to get, or not force you to get, but expect you to get Goron Tunic before you even enter the crater or do anything in here. However, when Fewer Tunic Requirements is turned on, you're able to do quite a bit that would otherwise lead towards bait tunic hints. So with Fewer Tunic Requirements, you can be expected to come into the crater and collect any of the checks in here, and also to enter the Fire Temple. This can be a little bit tight if you only have 3 hearts, but as you can see, it is doable. In the Fire Temple itself, all of the first floor is in logic. So you'll notice there is no fire timer in this room. There is, however, one in the room that leads to Volvagia, which has 1 check over there. And there's also a timer in the big lava room over here. These rooms are considered in logic when Fewer Tunic Requirements is enabled. So getting to that room there, and that room over there, even though you only have 24 seconds to do it, is going to be sometimes expected from the logic. However, this room here, and anything past it, is considered out of logic until you have a Goron Tunic or an adult wallet, the 200 rupee wallet, which would enable you to buy the Goron Tunic from Goron City. For the Zora Tunic, even entering Water Temple without it is considered out of logic unless you have Fewer Tunic Requirements enabled because of the water timer that exists here at the bottom of Lake Hylia. Similarly, doing anything inside of Water Temple is considered out of logic unless this is required. With Fewer Tunics Required enabled, there's only 1 check in the whole game that requires the Zora Tunic, and that is the check that's in the central pillar. If this check has the boss key for the Water Temple, and it's required to beat the Water Temple, or if this check has a required item, or if this check has a small key, and the boss key is behind a locked door in Water Temple, then the Zora Tunic will be expected. So in here you must dive down, defeat several enemies, and collect 1 chest. That is the only thing in the game that requires Zora Tunic with Fewer Tunic Requirements. The so-called toilet in GTG, the Sunken Silver Rupees room, does not require the Zora Tunic, neither does the heart piece at the bottom of Zora's Fountain. That can be extremely difficult to get with only 3 hearts. Logic does not expect you to get it without dying after you get it, so you may be able to collect it but not have enough time to return to the surface. So fewer tunic requirements, like I said, is not really a trick. It's more about knowing what is and isn't expected of you without a tunic. The second trick on the list is Hidden Grottoes without the Stone of Agony. This is a relatively new trick in version 5.2 of the randomizer. There's been an update that causes a small Stone of Agony icon to appear whenever you're near a hidden grotto, right above your rupee count. There are 6 grottos where this is applicable in standard settings. With Scrub Sanity enabled, there are many more. Below in the description box, I'll include a complete list of all of the hidden grottos in the game. However, if you're not playing with Scrub Sanity, here are the 6 where it's relevant. There's one right here, which is accessible with bombs or hammer, the Wolfos Grotto. There's one in front of this Gossip Stone in Kokiri Forest, which is only accessible with the Song of Storms. There's another Song of Storms grotto in this Ring of Rocks on Death Mountain Trail. There's one accessible with hammer or bombs in Kakariko. Look for the space between these two yellowy patches of grass. I'll mention this one, although there isn't a check here. There is a hidden grotto under this tree. There is a Skulltula in here, so if you're playing Skull Sanity, or if you're in a hurry to get up to a certain number of skulls for a check, that's a quick one right near Kakariko. The last 2 are also in Hyrule Field. There's one under this lonely tree near Lon Lon Ranch, the Tektite Grotto, that requires gold scale or iron boots. And the final hidden grotto with a check is here in South Hyrule, right near Lake Hylia, in approximately the center of this ring of fences, the Business Scrub. I'll include one more here. Again, it doesn't have a check, but there is a Song of Storms grotto near this tree outside of Hyrule Castle. It contains 2 things that may be useful for you. One is a Skulltula, and the other is a Gossip Stone. This is one of the more rarely seen Gossip Stones in Ocarina of Time Randomizer, and in this case, I'm sure it's useless. The third trick is Child Dead Hand without Kokiri Sword. This prevents Way of the Hero Kokiri Sword, which otherwise is useful for nothing. It takes, I believe, 9 or possibly 10 sticks to kill Dead Hand if you're just swinging your sticks like this. However, there is a simple way to get what's called a broken stick. If you open this invisible chest here, align yourself with it, pull out a stick, and then jump slash. You have a broken stick which you can swing infinitely, and you can use this in order to beat Dead Hand. The fourth trick is Man on Roof without hookshot. There's our man over there. This can be obtained either as child or as adult. As child, you want to climb to the top of this tower, target the rail, walk all the way to the left, and side hop. You'll land right on this fence, and you can climb up and talk to the dude. At night, there is a Skulltula on the ladder, so you need to have bomb shoes or a slingshot in order to kill it. This is also doable as adult, although it's much, much easier to do at night, because during the daytime as adult, there's someone who stands on top of the tower, and when you try to side hop, you talk to the person. There is, however, a much easier way to do it as adult, which I'll show you as well. So there's a couple of pretty simple jumps we can use to get to Man on Roof as adult. First, we want to do a slightly angled jump to get onto the roof here. It doesn't look like it should work, but it does. If you jump off the ledge, you were aiming too far to the right, and if you don't jump at all, you're aiming too far to the left. Next, we want to line up with the man. You'll get a feel for this the more often that you do it. We're aiming not to land on the roof, but to land on that fence right there. We roll, we jump, and there we are. Fifth is the jump in this room without hover boots. It's called the Spike Trap Room because of these moving spikes on the floor. And the jump in question is to this platform over here. It's a fairly easy jump. You can line it up without too much effort. If you're looking for a setup, one pretty easy one is to align with this wall, turn right, side hop, and side roll. As you roll, you want to let go of target. So side hop, side roll. Once you finish the roll, you can target again. You now have the correct angle. You want to line Link's head up with that pot, roll, and jump. From here, you can easily reach the bomb chest over there. The sixth trick on our list is hammer rusted switches through walls. This only comes up in one very specific situation. Unless there are Master Quest dungeons on, I believe, then there are more. It requires you to have hover boots, but not Song of Time. So there is a rusted switch behind this Song of Time block. If this switch weren't enabled, then Song of Time would be Way of the Hero just to hit the switch. As it is, you can target it, jump slash, and that's all there is to it. Seventh, the Windmill Piece of Heart with nothing. This is a trick that's in logic to prevent Song of Time from being Way of the Hero for getting through the Song of Time blocks at the end of Dampé's grave, or for Boomerang being Way of the Hero to obtain this as a child, which is in logic when this trick is turned off. This one's a little more involved. This ledge here is not climbable from the right side, however it is climbable from the front, or from this side. You want to position yourself around the tip of it, and turn so that you're facing this turning piece of wood. Once the big piece of wood is out of the way, you can roll, and Link will grab this ledge. From here you can walk over and jump to whatever the item happens to be. This one takes a little bit of practice to do quickly, but after a couple of tries, most people can get it pretty consistently. Eighth is the Crater's Piece of Heart with hover boots. This is to prevent Bolero of Fire from being Way of the Hero, which is a particularly nasty Way of the Hero when it's on Ocarina of Time. Leads to some nasty logical all dungeon seeds where the seed keeps throwing you items that it thinks that you need just in order to get up to the top of the crater. There's a fairly simple setup. This wall here is actually two different angled walls. You want to line up with the angle on the right and come into the corner. Equip your hover boots and backwalk. That will get you right across the chasm and you can collect the item on top of the crater. The ninth trick is the Forest Temple East Courtyard Vines with only hookshot for the directionally challenged among you. The East Courtyard is the one over here, behind the Shoot the Eye switch. This trick is put in logic to prevent Longshot from being Way of the Hero for Forest. It could also require you to get iron boots or, I think, gold scale to dive through this well to the West Courtyard. As it is, there are no additional requirements for Forest Temple besides hookshot, bow, and strength. That's what the setup looks like, and it's quite simple. You want to line up with the wall where the dirt and the grass meet, do a backflip, press shield and let go, and do what we call a neutral roll. A roll without any directional input. This Octorok won't bother you if you do this fairly quickly. However, since you will have the hookshot, you can kill him if he's causing you any trouble. So again, that's backflip, shield and release, neutral roll. You're now in the perfect position to reach these vines. You can do this at a few spots along the ground. A little bit over onto the grass works, a little bit over onto the dirt works, but it's a pretty narrow range of spaces on the ground where this is available. This last trick is a big pain. Goron City Spinning Pot Piece of Heart with only strength. As I mentioned, this trick is not considered in logic for scrub settings, but is considered in logic for weekly settings. It's the only trick of that sort. All of the other tricks that we've gone over are in logic for both scrubs and weekly settings. You do require fire, either by access to Darunia's Chamber or Magic plus Din's Fire. Normally you would come up here and throw a bomb into this pot. However, it is, unfortunately, doable with strength and this bomb flower here. The timing is obnoxiously precise. So you have to manage two cycles. The cycle of the bomb flower's timing and the cycle of the spinning pot. This unfortunately will not work. I threw it in at the wrong time and I'm going to get just some bomb refills. There are a couple of setups that can make this a little bit more consistent, but mostly this is a matter of trial and error. Fortunately, this is very rarely useful. It requires, first of all, that a required item is on the spinning pot, and second of all, that that item is locked by strength, and strength alone. That there are no bomb bags available prior to getting that item. This comes up so infrequently that, in my opinion, it's not worth spending a lot of time grinding this trick to get consistent at it. In the rare cases when it does come up, if you know the basic setup, which is grab, backwalk, turn around, and throw, you can usually get it within a couple of attempts. So that's it for the tricks that are in Logic for weekly and scrub settings. I hope that you found this video useful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave feedback down below, and check out the description box for more detailed information about some of these tricks. Thanks so much. Have a good one.